Drew are number. You know, we have a lot of other things if we were to.
This was a very, very hard video to put together. A lot of you guys might be wondering, where's your top 10 sneakers of 2019? And I personally decided not to do a 2019 top 10 because it's the end of a decade, first of all. I feel like everyone's list who's done one on YouTube, it's just been so similar to the point where it's the same shoes, it's just depending where you rank them 1 through 10. So for me personally, I wanted to do top 10 sneakers of a decade. A few things that I went by was I only picked shoes that came out to the public. I made sure not to include any PEs, friends and families, and also the most important thing, these are my pickups from the last decade. They're not the overall top 10 sneakers. There's actually shoes that I would actually put on this list if I actually owned them, but since I don't own them, I don't feel like I should have put them on the list. So this is only my pickups and the sneakers that mean the most to me. You need to comment down below, what are your top 10 sneakers of the decade? And if it's too hard for you to put them in any order, just write down the 10 most important shoes to you in the last 10 years. Let's go ahead and start off with, oh, one more thing. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Now, let's jump into number 10. Number 10 is the Ultra Boost in the all white with the black bottom colorway. Boost changed the game. I'm sorry, but the Ultra Boost and Boost in general, it just changed the game. Comfort-wise, Boost was nothing we've ever felt before, okay? And I know this isn't the first shoe that had Boost on it, but this definitely was the most hyped and most popular one, and this colorway itself was the most hyped up of all of them. The reason for that being is because Kanye actually wore this colorway when he performed at a Chicago Bulls game. This shoe is just crazy, man. It represents a lot of things. The shift in the culture from just being Nike and Jordan to being Nike, Jordan, and Adidas. Every single day when I was going out and hustling and filming content around Los Angeles, like, this shoe was on my foot. You can even see how dirty they've become over the last few years. I literally need to grab some Crep Protect, which I probably should grab to show you guys, but I'm not gonna do it. I'll just do an imaginary Crep Protect bottle right there. Anyway, that was number 10. Here's number 9. The Nike Yeezy Red October. Yup, I put these at number 9. Before you guys go crazy in the comment section, this is not my favorite of the Yeezy 2 colorways, but the reason why they're on the list though is because this shoe, I mean, this was a crazy shoe. So originally when these came out, we had no idea. There had been rumors for months. It was a shock drop. It released on Nike.com. Nike just released them through a tweet. I was sleeping on my air mattress at the time. I woke up 30 minutes after these released. I got on Twitter and I saw literally the whole world going crazy over them, and I was just depressed. Like, I was sad. I couldn't believe it. Like, they actually came out with Red Octobers, and 99% of us took L's. This shoe goes for crazy prices. Now they're going for over $9,000. Literally blows my mind. Yeah, man, I was able to acquire these from Blake Linder, a fellow YouTuber. He sold them to me for a very great price. So yeah, I appreciate that. It had to be on the list, but for me personally, it's just a little bit higher because I think it's just that I don't have too much attachment to this shoe. Now, let's get into number 8. Number 8 is the Lance Mountain SB Jordan 1s. Now, this is a sneaker that really has an attachment to me. Before I moved to LA, before I could afford breads or before I could afford Royal Jordan 1s, there was a thing called the Lance Mountain Jordan 1. And basically what it was a Jordan 1 that had an all white upper, but as you wear and tear them, the white starts to come off and it unveils two of the most popular Jordan 1 colorways, which is the bread and the royal. So that's what I did. The Air Jordan SB Lance Mountains. And you can see that I already took the paint off. Both shoes came like this. So what these shoes are made for is that you're supposed to skate in them or just wear them over time, and the paint is supposed to come off and it's supposed to unveil the original colorway of the Air Jordan 1, which was the royal on this foot, and then the the bread on this foot. These shoes represent like hours and days and months of hard work, man. These shoes, they've gone through so much, man. They've literally gone through so much. Now let's get into number 7. Coming in at number 7 is the Kobe Bryant 6 in the Grinch colorway. I'm gonna say this right now, the best Nike basketball Christmas Day sneaker of all time. This was a statement, man. Kobe came out on that court rocking these and everybody wanted them. He literally had all the courtside people rocking these shoes. It was crazy, man. This was when Nike basketball was at its peak. It was at its prime. Like, this was as hyped as like all the off-white shoes are now. If you were a sneakerhead and collecting and buying during the Nike basketball era, then you know how important these shoes are. And it's pretty cool because the backstory on these sneakers for me personally is that I actually proposed in these. So if you guys remember at SneakerCon, I got down on one knee and I asked Mina to be my wife. I didn't do that on purpose, honestly. I just kind of wanted to wear these for the game, and then I realized that I was doing that. Yeah, these are my proposals. All right, number 6. Number 6 is going to be the Air Jordan 1 Travis Scott High. Now, if I was making a top 10 sneakers of 2019 list, this is number 1. But we're not talking about 2019. We're talking about the entire decade. So these come in at number 6. So I started to listen to Travis Scott around 2015, 2016. He really cemented his legacy to me when he dropped Astroworld. Like, that album to me was one of the best albums of the decade. On top of his album being amazing, he dropped one of the best Air Jordan 1s I've ever seen. Now, a lot of people do not like the swoosh being backwards on these. I get it. I understand a lot of people are not a fan of that, but he did something different, man. We've seen everything on an Air Jordan 1, but we've never seen the swoosh taken off and flipped backwards. And the stash pocket, like, bruh, he put a stash pocket in an Air Jordan 1. On top of all that, another reason why this shoe kind of means a lot to me is because I was able to get these early in the year. Like, I got these, I can't remember the exact date, but I got these like a couple months before they came out because Jumpman LA had like a private friends and family party, and I actually got invited last minute, so I was able to go get my size. So yeah, man, this is number 6 on the list. It didn't make top 5, but I'm kind of satisfied with where I ranked it on the list. We're getting into the top 5 now. Here we go, man. Here we go. Top 5 sneakers of the decade. Before we get into it, remember, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's do it. Number 5 is the Air Jordan 1 Off-White Chicago. Again, man, another person who had a huge impact the last few years in this decade. Virgil, Off-White. Come on now. Like, you take the best sneaker of all time, possibly one of the best colorways of all time, and you bring the Off-White vibe to it. What more can you ask for? This shoe was executed perfectly. I had to put these top 5, man. I had to do it because this shoe is so great, man. I'm getting emotional. No, seriously though, guys, like, what Virgil did with the 10 collection was crazy. The hype was insane. At the time, I paid $3,000 for these, and I thought that was a lot. Now they're going for $5,000. We wear our Ooh, what is that? These shoes do have some miles on them, and I was able to just enjoy them, and I still enjoy them, and they're just beautiful. This one doesn't really need a story behind it. It's just beautiful. It's getting spicy, baby. Let's get into number 4. Number 4 is the Yeezy 350 in the Turtle Dove colorway. It was either between these or the Pirate Blacks, but I went with the Turtle Doves. And the reason for that is because this was the first colorway of the 350s, and this was the switchover. And by that I mean it was Kanye's switchover from Nike to Adidas. This was a sample of what was to come. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, the 750 was his first shoe, but to me, 350 changed the game, because you see what happens now with the 350 V2s. Literally, they make them in a million similar colorways, and everybody has them now. Like, literally everybody has a 350 V2 now. This was the start of the Yeezy 350 movement. So I made a lot of videos on these, and it was like when my YouTube was really growing and going crazy, was a lot of people wanted to see reviews and content around the shoe. I was able to just, you know, help my channel out with this shoe, so I gotta be grateful for it. So yeah, man, this is number 4. We're down to our top 3, and number 3 is the Air Jordan Red 11 from 2012. Growing up, every single year after holiday, when we'd get back into high school and kids were rocking the new Jordan 11s that came out, I was always so jealous because I could never get them. I never knew how to get them, and Jordan 11s were just way more harder to get back then. They weren't making 2 million pairs like they are these days. When I was actually able to get a pair off of Nike.com for retail without a bot, I was so excited. So this shoe right here means so much to me because of that. Like, man, I remember texting Harris and Swag, telling them like, oh my god, I got him, finally arrived to my door. Damn, like, I finally own one of the most sought after Jordans of all time.
I still got my J's on. Ooh, you feel me? Hey, hey.
Gibbs is fire, bruh.
Yeah,
It's really bad to say and sad to say, but people were literally dying for these shoes. Like, people were getting shot, fights breaking out at malls. Like, this shoe really changed the game during the holidays, and that is one of the main reasons why there's just raffles these days. No more campouts, is because the Jordan 11, the releases would always get so crazy. All right, man, we're down to our top 2. Coming in at number 2 is the Jordan 1 shattered backboard. This was the first shattered backboard. This was like the first orange Jordan 1 that's ever came out. Now, for me personally, the reason why I even point that out is because my favorite color is orange. So the fact that they were releasing an orange Jordan 1, I needed these. These are super limited, really hard to get. Unfortunately, I did have to pay resale price, but the reason I'm actually happy about that is because this was the first ever shoe that I bought from Mag Park. Like, this shoe, because of this shoe, I met Mickey, who's one of my really close friends. So this is the best quality they've ever put on a Jordan 1. Anytime a new Jordan 1 comes out, we always say, oh, how is it compared to the shattered backboards? Is it shattered backboard quality? That's what people say. Is I don't know what made them want to put the quality of the shoe so well, like, but I'm really happy they did. Trade my size 12s for a size 10. Finally get these damn backboards. Yo, look at this shot. This is dope. Finally freaking got them. Diaries of a sneakerhead, man. Diaries of a freaking sneakerhead. I think another thing that made this shoe so special was the backstory. So the story behind them, the quality, on top of my own personal story with the sneakers, that's why I ranked them so high at number 2. Was just like, this is the best Jordan 1 that they've released over the last 10 years. Coming in at number 1, guys, the most important shoe to me, the best sneaker of the decade in my opinion, the Nike Yeezy 2 in the white platinum colorway. People sometimes ask me, Kais, what's one shoe in your collection that you will never give up? What's one shoe that you would grab if your house was on fire? And I always tell them that it's this and my autographed Kobe's that I got when I met him. Now, the Kobe's, I got those in 06 or 07, so that wasn't part of this decade. These were a part of this decade. We already saw another Yeezy 2, so that just shows you in general how important the Yeezy 2 was to this decade. When I was hustling hard on YouTube, when I was working my regular job as well as uploading YouTube videos, I was trying to save as much money as possible to be able to buy a Yeezy 2. My YouTube channel was maybe making couple $100s a month. You know, through hard work, grinding, I was finally able to purchase my dream shoe. I know it was around my birthday because I do have the footage of me, you know, showing you guys this shoe. I was able to get the shoe. I think I paid like $1,300 or $1,400 for it, and then I basically bought it for myself as a birthday gift. Yeah, man, this was like the first shoe that I literally busted my ass for. This was the first expensive shoe I purchased. You know, I held it in my hand and I put it on my foot. It was just like, I wanted more. I wanted more, man. This shoe motivated me to want to work harder than I was already working, you know what I mean? So I think it was like maybe a year later, after owning this shoe, I packed up my bags and I moved to LA. You know, I grinded my ass off, and because of this shoe, because of wanting this shoe, I was able to get all these other shoes you see. This shoe means so much to me, as well as what it means to the culture. Like, I can sit here a couple hours talk about why this shoe is so important to the sneaker game, but like, to me and what it did for me is why it's number one on my list. Yeah, man, I think I did a pretty good job with my list. Let me know what you guys think of my list. Again, I would love for you guys to comment what your top 10 is of the decade. But anyway, guys, yeah, that wraps it up, man. 10 years in the books. Make sure you guys subscribe. I think I'm losing my voice because I've talked too much in this video. So yeah, that's it. I'm out. Peace.
Dream crew, dream crew, dream crew. They just
just wanna do it how we do. Living my life like the Beatles. I just pulled up with some lethal. They getting mad and deceitful. I make it hard to be peaceful. They tell me I got an ego, but I'm putting up for my people.